Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a video here to talk about Action Comics number 1000. Yes, issue number 1000. It's a deluxe edition hardcover that I bought at Ollie's for like $4 or $3 or something. Thank God, let me say that much. So, issue 1000 is supposed to be the first time ever that a Superman comic has hit 1000 issues. Now, that's a big deal. That's a big, big deal. And I did a recent grab bag haul video where I talked a little too much about my thoughts on this. This video won't be much different from those thoughts. But I gotta tell you, man, this was such a disappointment in every way. This is a big issue, too, of a comic. I think it's closer to 80 pages or something like that. Not even 100, which is strange to me. But the worst sin that this commits is not just having an amazing issue of Superman or having like some kind of revelatory thing. I don't really know what you could do after 1,000 issues of comics, but what they did instead was an anthology. A fucking anthology for the 1000th issue of one of the most popular superheroes to ever exist in humankind, in DC Comics history, in history in general. Something that inspired even, like, certain things in culture, like, I don't know, like, you know, for example, All Might from whatever that fucking manga is called. Anyway, My Hero Academia, that's what I'm thinking. This is a big anthology issue of a bunch of boring, dull, 4 to 8 page long stories that don't impress me whatsoever, from a lot of different creators that are well known, mainly in modern day, not even so much older times. There's a couple of those. One that was surprising, Richard Donner was involved with this. I think he co-wrote one with somebody. I'll get to that in a moment. But it's so lame. It's so lame. There's some decent art in most of these stories. And like I said, there's some tributes in here too to like when Superman got nuked in Dark Knight Returns. There's little shots like that. I think there was some references at least once to Death of Superman with the black costume in here. The back of this deluxe edition comes with a ton of, you know, cover arts and variants, and it just goes on for like 30 pages of this. It also includes Action Comics number 1 in the back, the first appearance of Superman ever. And that's really it. That's really all this has going for it, and I don't think it was worth more than the $3 or $4 I spent on it. Moving along to the different types of stories we have in here, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember many of them because this was such a bad book. I kind of just blocked a lot of it out, but I remember little tidbits here and there. I just want to cover the creative teams of who was involved as writing and drawing, and that's about it. The first writer that was on this was Dan Jurgens. Yes. Not much was there. It was basically a Superman celebratory day in Metropolis, Lois Lane and their son. They're all just there for a celebration about Superman. And that's it. It was what it was, man. Never Ending Battle is written by Peter J. Tomasi. It is what it is. Pinup is written by, or I guess drawn by, John Romita Jr., who's usually great, and I think he's good there, fine, okay. But that is what it is there. An Enemy Within, which is written by Marv Wolfman, who I've never heard of. Is that a popular Superman guy? Like, did he do something in the past? Let me know. I really don't mean that as, like, some kind of derogatory, rude thing. I just don't know who he is. The name sounds vaguely familiar. Vaguely. But I don't know for sure why. The pencils done for his story were by Kurt Swan, excuse me. I can't talk today. I can't read either today. There's a story called The Car that is written by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner, which was kind of cool seeing both of them back for this. That was what it was. It's not that great, just like most of the book. It's kind of a lame story within an anthology, just like everything else. The 5th Season by Scott Snyder. It was what it was. Of Tomorrow is written by Tom King, and, you know, it's Tom King, and it's boring. And artsy-fartsy. 5 Minutes, written by Louise Simonson. I don't know who that is. The art's done by Jerry Ordway. Shit, I cannot talk today. Action Land is written by Paul Dini, and the pencils are done by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Pinup is The art is done by Walter Simonson, which is interesting. Faster Than a Speeding Bullet is written by Brad Meltzer. There's another pinup that happens to be by George Jimenez. And then the final story in here is from Brian Michael Bendis, who I think was the guy doing like the Action Comics or Superman stuff at this time when this got released or was it a few years ago when Action Comics 1000 came out? I think it was. But the pencils are done by Jim Lee, which was kind of nice. But Brian Michael Bendis did a story that I think is one of the most obnoxious pieces of shit stories in here that I just have to highlight for a moment. It's the only one that really stuck with me. About Superman flying. He has a chessboard folded up underneath his arm with the pieces inside of it, kind of like one of those chessboard boxes, that unfold into the board game. He's flying. He goes to Lex Luthor's place, and then they're gonna play chess. Apparently they have this usual ritual, and I guess symbolically it's supposed to be intelligent about how it's always a cat and mouse chess game between these two. And when they get there, or when Superman gets there, Lex is trying to pull something on him in that 4 or 5 page storyline, and Superman outsmarts him, but not really. It's not like an action-packed thing. It's just a discussion of the wits, if you will, which, aka, is boring. And then it's like the build-up to something Lex will eventually do. Well, why the fuck did you come play chess with the guy who's going to fuck you over or do something to you or your family or your friends or Metropolis or the planet? I don't get it. Anyway, not a huge fan of Brian Michael Bendis outside of what I've read of Ultimate Spider-Man, which is really just 1 volume. But I don't know enough about his work to like him, but this shit makes me like, I don't want to read more Superman from him. Anyway, Action Comics 1000 was, to me, a massive disappointment, and I was expecting more, because when it came out back in the day, there was a lot of fanfare surrounding the release of this, not what it was after it came out. Let me make that very clear. And then when I finally get a chance to read it, I'm like, what the fuck is this? The big first event issue, the big special deluxe edition of Rebirth #1 was incredible. I have that in hardcover. It was an excellent issue. And then you have this shit. And it's like, what? This should be a bigger deal than something like Rebirth's kickoff point. In other words, what a waste of money, what a waste of time, what a waste of effort as a company. I don't know what I wanted them to do instead of just some tribute bullshit to Superman, but it should have been better than what it was. So anyway, Action Comics #1000. What do you think about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you think about it down below. And what do you think about all of these different writers' runs on Superman things? It's kind of cool seeing the Richard Donner dude here, who of course is the director of the first 2 movies, or at least the first one, and then the, secret straight-to-video cut of the second one. I'd love to hear everything you have to say down below about all this stuff and all these creators. But yeah, what a massive disappointment, man. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.